The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, David White, on a day that will live in history. As we always like to start off history on this show and movement in the markets. We don't have very much movement, so we'll put that to the back burner for just a moment. And we'll talk about what is new at TFNN today, and that is seeing your lovable, squeezably soft hosts like me live. In fact, if you go to Tiger TV, you'll see that we are broadcasting my wonderful and smiling face. So you're going to get a little bit more context of when I'm making a joke and being sarcastic or ironic instead of just sitting here. And we're going to try to roll this out to as many of the hosts as we can as soon as possible. And I've been working on trying to figure out how to make a nice little studio right here in front of all my screens that we can see and talk about. But as we start off each day, we like to start off with history. And today in the year 1700, Daniel Bernoulli, one of the giants of probability in a family of good scientists, and the father of modern risk analysis, born in Basel, Switzerland. Not a coincidence that you see so many things happening in Switzerland for the world economy. They started a lot of the original risk calculations. There's a great book about the beginnings of that called Against the Gods. And I think I talked to Tom. He actually had him on probably 2002, 2003, somewhere around that time frame as a guest. Kind of a, what would you say, grisly, porcupiney, older academic. And interesting to see his spiny view of risk and people that traded, everything else. But a wonderful book nonetheless for a curmudgeon. But interestingly, very neat. He was the author in 1738 of a thing really with the translation is The Exposition of a New Theory on the Management of Risk, in which the St. Petersburg paradox was the basis of economic theory of risk aversion, risk premium, and risk utility. Every day, you can check out your own history at Jason Zellwig's blog if you like this history. Sometimes he has more. I try to find the stuff that is most interesting. Again, we're going to take a quick look at the market. It has been rather sedate so far, and I'm not really surprised. We've had very light volume each time we've come up to these highs. We're up 2 points on the S&P cash, 2.14 billion shares. Again, when we've had some strength, it's been pretty much at the start of the show, maybe 2.5, 2.6 billion shares. And it is somewhat disconcerting to see light volume at the highs. And we're going to be talking more about that throughout the show. But now, anytime that news breaks at TFNN, I'm here to fix it. So let's start taking a look at it. Not a lot of movement in the euro today. Asia, Japan's Nikkei, 3.1%. Another QE throwing in basically the kitchen sink now, trying to keep Japan's market moving. And my guess is that they've reached stall speed. And even though they can get short covering rallies like today, it doesn't look any better for them. Probably the template for taking water out of the deep end of the pool and pouring it in the shallow end, all you do is add up more debt, and you really don't get any more traction. 10 years of going sideways for Japan, and while their market has moved up, nothing has really moved up figuratively. Just the figures have changed. The names remain the same. Hong Kong's Hang Seng was up just mildly, and one of the reasons I'm pessimistic about the Japan's movement is just how tepid the reaction was in the rest of the countries. China's Shanghai off 0.8, and India's Sensei, which is jumped to a 3-week high. Another good indication that we're seeing these bounces, inevitable bounces, in a down move in most of these emerging market countries. Australia's ASX was up 0.2, but up to a 3-month high as shares gained for the 8th time in 9 sessions, so getting a little bubbly out there. Miners BHP and Rio Tinto gained 0.4 and a 1.5%. respectively. Other things going on over the weekend, you may have seen it. It's been in a lot of the headlines. George Soros's 13F filings have come out. We are seeing just how big one of the biggest men on Wall Street is going short. He has now a record 1.3 billion, or the equivalent of some 7 million SPY equivalent shares short. I'm going to say that again, 1.3 billion. And because it's leveraged, 7 million SPY equivalent shares short. Did you get that? This guy is huge short. His ex also attacked him in court. Yeah. Yeah, that's an 80-year-old guy dating a 25-year-old guy. Yeah, you're probably going out with someone that's nuts. Someone was talking about Soros's recent, I think, divorce. Semi-divorce. He tossed her out. One of the things that Soros, why a very sharp operator, and someone if I did a deal with that he would sign, I know that I would be getting taken, once said, all of economic history is one lie and deceit after another. Your job as a speculator is just get on when the lie is being propagated and then get off before it's discovered. My guess is that he thinks that the lie is very quickly going to be upon us. Now, he's always had some level of hedge to the downside, but he has gone into overdrive in the last 45 days. And again, even these numbers are probably 35 to 40 days old. So we can probably look at these as the first few days as he came back in the new year. We have no idea what he's done in the last 40 or so days, but it is interesting, nonetheless. And what else we have out here? Candy Crush maker. King Digital has filed for an IPO of up to $500 million. This Candy Crush thing is like, Pet Rocks and all the other stuff. Everybody gets on these things. They do them for a little while. But these guys have been the kings of Candy Crush, of these games that come and go. They're saying right now 128 million people play its game daily, of which 93 billion play Candy Crush. So they've got a huge following. Additionally, King says 78% of its total gross bookings came from Candy Crush, and it looks like their sales are very, very good. Of course, in sympathy, we're seeing a Zynga kind of pop up to some fairly decent highs, and we'll look at it in a little bit also. We've got our phone lines open at 877-927-6648, 877-927-6648. We'd love to have your phone call here at the show, the Power Trading Hour. I always like it when politicians, they never say I'm getting elected. They always say this candidacy, this campaign, they always try to diffuse it away from themselves. I want you to call me, not my campaign or the show. Just call me. I'm sweet and lovable and squeezably soft. 877-927-6648. You can also email me if you can't get on the blower at path, P-A-T-H, at TFNN.com. And I'll try to catch it during the breaks when I can, and may be able to get your question in. Other things going on today. This is the lightest week for IPOs since the week between Christmas and New Year's. Since then, we've had at least 6, sometimes as many 15 IPOs this week. Right now, we've got 2, both of them pretty minor. I would expect that they are looking for volatility by the end of this week because we see a lot more starting next week, and I don't think it's just random. I think they wanted to stay out of this week, and we'll see what the end of this week follows. Maybe it's because it's a short week, but my guess is that they wanted to stay away from the volatility they saw last options expiration cycle. And that's pretty much it. We've got a lot of other stuff going on here at TFNN. And again, like I said, if you follow us on Tiger TV at TFNN.com or TFNN.mobi, you can always see my smiling face from now on, I guess most days, unless I have like bad acne or something, which I haven't had probably since I was 14 or 13. Not particularly good looking or incredibly tall or incredibly thin or a voice that is like velvet or a face that is leading matinee idol. But I got good hair and good skin. So I guess there's always something to be said. But anyway, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Wanted to go into some of the winners and losers today. And we're going to get started with that right away. And hopefully we get started right away. There we go. Actavis PLC making new highs out here. This had made its last highs at 189.78, the January 22nd high. And we need just a little bit more out here. Hang on a second. There we go. Up and breaking out on heavy volume. ACT is the symbol on this. We were looking at that last high on January 22nd, 1.8 million shares, and it is gapping up on 11 million shares. So certainly that. Now, what you would really like to see, and why I'm going to call this is probably an exhaustion move, is you'd like to see somewhere between 100% more to maybe at the most 300% more. So in a range between 4 million and 6 million shares on the breakout would leave still some room to the upside. Normally when you get 5, 6, 7 times the volume breaking out a high, that's pretty much the high of the day, and you're going to see this thing meander back out, fill the gap. But normally when you hear me talk about exhaustion gaps, this is the kind of thing that leads to them. Not saying this is going to do it, but I'd say 75, 80% of the time we've seen the high, and this thing's going to slowly drift back and fill that gap. We shall be back in just a minute. Post your questions in the den through email or at TFNN.com. Give me a ring.
Andy Heck's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments, and whether you're bullish or bearish on U.S. Treasuries, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different futures contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a 2-week free trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we are back just to finish up with ACT. They spent a lot of money on acquisitions, and it looks pretty good out here. And, of course, they just continue to move companies around that they bought and pay less taxes, cut expenses, and continue to move higher. Had a question in the den about Noble Corporation, and I'm not exactly sure what they see here for a buy. You know, the question is, would it get into a buy? And you've got a high volume low. You can say it was tested on June 25th, but I would want to get the 2902 June 4th, 2012 low out here tested at 2902. What I dislike is the energy on the way down was fairly strong. Let's do this just for a second. I want to see just how, I mean, the energy on this last leg down pretty high, so I'm not looking for any buy out of here until this thing consolidates and probably test the 29, maybe even at 28.73. It's this far down, it's probably going to test it anyway. Other questions in the den. Is there any reason to become bullish on the Apple for short, intermediate, or long term? And it was pop-up Apple. I don't think Apple's going anywhere until after expiration. It's filled this gap. I think that's all it was going to do. It seems to fill these gaps every expiration. And my guess is this thing probably expires out at 540 or 535 540 probably now. There's no volume in this. Ski slope down a volume, and if it was doing anything, it's making an ABC down. Now, here's why I think you would be very wary of Apple, and that is not because it's doing poorly, but because its expenses are probably going to dramatically rise. A lot of those 3,000 people that they had in Austin are now working for them. They're going to start seeing these R&D costs vastly rise. They spent a lot of money to buy new equipment that I've highlighted in the newsletter for their new devices. But I think you're probably going to see it take at least 6, 9, 12 months for any of that stuff to start hitting on the profit side. And all they're going to have is the expenses on that. People are going to see those expenses moving up, profit margins moving down, and it's going to be tough. So I think you probably, best case scenario is that you've gotten just about everything you could expect probably out of Apple this week. But I think that this thing probably in a trading range, and at next earnings, probably going to see a lot of those R&D expenses hitting the bottom line. Probably the right thing to do, and Wall Street won't like it. So I'll give kudos to the current CEO for probably doing the right thing, and Wall Street for probably punishing him for doing that right thing. Let's see. Okay, let's see anything else. Okay, I don't think that there's anything else out here, and I don't see any phone calls. Very quiet day, not only in the stock market, but at the office, everywhere around. Again, if you are late tuning in to TFNN in my show here today, we are working on something brand new, which is bringing your hosts like me to you live. So you'll be able to actually see my smiling face during the show on a Tiger TV. And if you're in the den, you can always pop in there and see it live. But interesting nonetheless. Anyway, not a whole lot of Apple. Other stocks moving out here today. Chelsea Therapeutics. It was probably a bigger move this morning. Let's get rid of that one. FRX, Forest Labs. Of course, all these biotechs are in heaven, at least 7 minutes of heaven. But it is and continues to be a biotech world. Of course, their buyout may boost other drug companies, so you're not going to see a lot of movement out here. I think they're within 0.5% of the buyout. But let's see. Forest Labs are scoring big on the news of a $25 billion buyout by Actavis, and some wonder if the interest will spread to other drug makers' shares. So that's what that is. Gurn is the next one of movers out here. Let's see if there's another $5 stock moving a little on a flat day. Certainly looked a little bit better pre-market. Instamed, coming back to the break. I'm going to check my email during the break. We'll look for questions there. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648 or email me at path@tfnn or put a stock in the den and we'll look at it. Be back in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can't use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. I have a few questions. Oh, lots of questions in my email showing up here during the break. And, of course, you have anything else moving out here? Not really. Just taking a look at a second screen here. I've got more screens than Carter's has pills. Anyway, questions in the den. We'll try to go through them as quickly as possible. Question is, where do you think the Russell 2000 index will pin? And right now it looks somewhere around, I actually had it up here. Let me put it back up. IWM. And if we're looking at the actual stock, I'm thinking somewhere around probably I'm actually popping around here. You got 3 different things going on. Hang on just a second. There we go. Okay, and this is of the close on Friday. I don't think that there was probably a lot of movement out here. I checked and it looks fairly close. My guess is that this is probably going to move back. What is it trading out at 115 now? Probably going to try to get back down to 114, 113 and a half, somewhere in there. Certainly the bias is just a little lower when we look at the pain numbers out here. And I think we're basically stretching the upside of the curve. In the next day or so, we're probably going to see this market come back. But it looks to me like they're going to try to expire The S&P's out at maybe 1820, something like that, maybe a little lower. So I think we're going to get the first movement off the top, kind of like we did last month, and that is you're going to see just in the last couple of days. In the case last month, it was Friday where they jammed it up, by 1848 or something, closed at 1838, I think, from memory. I didn't look at it. I think we're going to see the same thing, but I have a feeling that we reached the high of this week maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but I have a feeling that we're looking at the price and volume movement out here probably the weakest. Other questions in the mail. Oh, I forgot to do my mail thing. How can we do it if I don't do my mail thing? So let's find it. There it is. Oh, I've got my map. Yes, I do. Oh, I forgot to do that, so I had to do it. Anyway, other ones out here, SNAK, Mr. Snacky Poo, bouncing around at the highs. Volume's too low for me to get any kind of reading on SNAK. You guys like trading those low volume stocks. We did IVM, we did that. Amazon and GMCR. I don't think you can read anything into GMCR. It's always been a wild stock, no more than lately. Amazon probably a lot easier to look at. This thing really looks like it wants to close out around 350 this week, and I think 350, 345. A lot like Apple, excuse me. I think these stocks probably pretty close to where they're going to expire at. I don't expect a lot of either upside or downside before these, but I think that the support level is probably somewhere around 345, 340, and we'll see how that comes out. But I imagine we're probably going to see 340, 345 by the end of the week on Amazon without a great deal of movement. So we got hold of that. Okay. What else do we have? Okay, don't see anything else. We're going to go back to our winners and losers already in progress. Nova Measuring Instruments, another huge breakout. This one probably coming back down a little bit lower. Volume not enough on that one. PRAN, which is Prana Biotechnology, another one actually a fairly decent chart, except for the, just all like all these biotech stocks, always trade manic depressively. Rosetta Genomics is another one out here, and Vasco Data Security. This thing jumped, but of course it had no volume either. Let's go take a look at the stocks that were not surprising today. Hang on just a second. Our losers. SIG. I wonder what these guys, SMIG, CIG, what do these guys do? I haven't seen them before, so let's check them out. Engage generation, transmission, distribution, and sale of electric energy, primarily in Brazil. So, doesn't look like, they're ticking down. But what else can you say about emerging markets? They sucketh, the big one. Another one looks like the same thing, CPL. It's breaking down, another gap down for those. I bet this thing is the same thing. Let's take a look. Yep, another Brazilian electricity manufacturer, provider, let me put it that way. Dynavex Technology, EBR. Let's take a look at that one here real quick. And let's see. Come on, Internet. Another one. Boy, these, all the losers out here all look like they're in the exact same field. I didn't have a chance to look at these. Generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity in Brazil. Yeah, okay, another one. These were all pre-market, so I didn't have a chance to check up with them during the day. Galena Biopharmaceutical. Not going to see a lot in that. GDP, Goodrich Petroleum Corporation. The Goodrich blimp, of course, down a little bit. And, of course, this is market movers earlier today. So we'll see how they've worked from opening lower at the beginning of the day. This thing certainly wants to look back to the $14.74 low of January 13th. Had 3 million shares there. Certainly had a heavy volume on Friday as we came out. And why volume is lighter today, certainly looks like we're back for a test of the 14.74 area on Goodrich Blimp Petroleum Corporation. Let's see, what else do we have? War coming, disrupt oil supplies. Can I put up IBB with expansion levels, please? I don't know what you're looking for, but I live to serve, Pete D. Okay. I don't know how far you're looking or what you're looking for, but let's, okay. I guess expansion levels or retracement levels. Because right now I'd be saying I'd be, with this light volume in the breakout, I'd be looking at retracement levels. And, you got some big movements out here. This is a little more volatile. Let's take a look at it. Okay, here's what I'd be looking at least a short term on the IBB. And that is a confluence at 244.71 to 245.02. And if this thing fails, which certainly the volumes are not all that exciting, you could see that's probably where it's coming back. So what do you have, 20 points on the downside? Probably not a big deal for a $264 stock out here tonight. But I just don't see – I see the volume like everything in the market. You can draw a fairly decent line from 7-10 days ago, and it just keeps going down on average, whether the market is up or down. And that's just telling me there isn't a great deal. If you could bust through that 245 level, then you've got the next level at 235, and there's a nice little gap there, plus 2 previous lows. But I'd say on a market pullback, you're going to see IBB pretty much race back to this 244, 245 level. I guess the question is whether or not this is an ABC up. Maybe it, and I guess you could make a case for it. I wouldn't be making it, but if you did, let me see here. If you did, what would that be? That would be the A. That would be the A, and that would be the B. I'm going to make that the C. And 274.70, 274.47. Let's zoom into that so everybody could see it at home. 274.47 would be a 1-to-1. So could it continue moving out here? Yes, but I have a feeling, just like we saw on the rest of it, what we have more likely is an exhaustion move for these biotechs today. SBS. Yeah, let's clean this thing back up here 1 year and get rid of expansions. Certainly looks like another one of these. Go back here. Am I guessing that every one of these stocks that are down big pre-market are all sanitation? Everything else, it looks like every social service in Brazil is out here. These guys are waste treatment plant and sewage treatment plant stations. So maybe everybody in Sao Paulo, Brazil, is going broke if you're in the services for either supplying electricity or sanitation or everything else. Pretty interesting to see all these blowing out the lows. And let's see what else we have here. SID. SBS. Didn't know so many of these electrical stocks in Brazil were public. Is this yet another one? If it is, I'm going to absolutely die. I didn't know this when I started looking at integrated steel production, primarily in Brazil. So it looks to me like it's a bad hair day in Brazil. Probably always a bad hair day. It looks highly humid there. Probably like Miami, it seems like. Of course, they always have those tanned naked bodies or almost naked bodies out on the beach. So I don't think anybody cares. But another one of these stocks just getting slaughtered out here. Let's see what else we have. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Okay. Let me clean up a little bit of my stuff, and then we're going to get into other stocks of interest out here. And there are more than a few. We've got a lot of stocks testing previous highs. I do want to check back in on the markets here just quickly. And we're up 3 points now in the S&P cash. Still no volume, 2.36 billion shares on that. And I need to do one more thing. Let's just go to this and take a look at what we have moving out here today. Okay, ACT, MyGen, 90. Seeing a lot of short squeezes in stocks, and of course, most of these are 3D stocks have been doing it. So we'll give me just a second here. And basically, what you would expect out of most of these 3D stocks, that is, they came down on horrific volume on the 5th of December. Or excuse me, 5th of February, and that volume was huge, 42 million shares. And of course, we're coming back up here and filling this gap with a very light volume today, about 5.7 million shares. So if you were thinking that we're getting ready for the next leg down in some of these stocks, I think you can make a great case. Let's go ahead and make a great case for DDD being a ABC down here. On a bigger scale, it has a set up to about $32. If you just want to look at the, well, I think that's it. I don't think there are any more there. 87. You can see where it made the first ABC without much of a retrace. Basically, the light retrace set up the low 56.76 off of that February 5th low, and then of course turned around, but it fell on basically a standard 1-to-1 on that one. If you look at some of the other ones, though, the smaller ones, same thing. But I think you can make a case that you can't make a case there. You could make a case maybe that this is the one we're looking for: A, B, C. And retraced basically 80% already, but that would take you to $50, and there's a nice gap and a previous low back out here, and that's what I'd probably be thinking on this one, at least in the near future. The market starts to wane. We're going to go back right into that gap. That gap occurred on November the 9th in 2013, and that should be it. But fairly interesting movement out here, but not unexpected to see a lot of those gaps come back and get filled. But my guess is this thing is headed back to the $50 level fairly quick. And someone's typing, and we'll see whether we got a phone call or not as we go to break. But still send in those emails. We'll check them out, hopefully get them in the last segment. And that'll be it. Anyway, give me a ring, 877-927-6648.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Join Andy Hecht as he teaches you how to make money in commodities. The Commodities Hour, next on TFNN.
And we are back. Oh, I had something up here just for other things. Anyway, we got Andy coming along here in just a second. We always see signs of Andy about this time during the break. Of course, normally he's got Mondays off. But we all had Mondays off, so a little bit different here as we wait for him to set up the Commodities Hour. I'm very interested in watching natural gas here. I think we've got a nice trade coming out, and I'm looking at a way playing it that may cut out the volatility. And going to be very interesting to see whether or not those EIA numbers are actually coming out on Thursday, which their website says. But almost every time I see that we have Monday off, they don't come out till Friday. So maybe they are coming out Thursday, maybe they're not on natural gas. But I have a play if this is the high this week coming out. I've been waiting for one. I think it's got a good chance of making some money without the volatility of natural gas. And why? Andy is here giving us a way of trading things, sometimes in ETFs, without getting into futures themselves. But I think he'll talk more about that today. But I'm chomping at the bit. I think the next move up in natural gas is probably the high until late summer. I think there's going to be some nice moves out here. Again, we're looking at a market that doesn't seem to be going anywhere fast. And I was going to look at some other stuff out here, but we got 2 minutes left. Let's take a look at some of the stocks. A couple of them out here testing highs on much lighter volume. And one of the ones that has me very interested, since we've seen these highs in especially in energy that don't seem to have any volume. Another one is this Diamondback Energy, FANG. I've been watching this one. Last high was the November 5th high, $58.71, 1.7 million shares. Breaking through some of these, and this one's going to be probably, maybe 5/8, maybe at best 3/4 of the volume, and that is if it can keep above this last previous high. Probably a good question, but I think probably say it's going to close higher, but just 900,000 shares so far, so we're just a little over halfway with, about an hour left to trade. But a lot of these energy stocks, just not a lot of oomph on the last leg back up. Another one that I had in my newsletter this morning that I thought was very interesting to watch was the Bank of Ireland, IRE. But anyway, this one, another one bouncing up against previous highs. This one was the January 13th high with 2 million shares. On Friday, we had just 650,000 shares. 530,000 shares today, so maybe just a little bit more volume, but certainly nothing like that January 13th high out here. Another stock or ETF that's got my eye with a minute left to go here at TFNN Power Trading Hour is the Semiconductors Trust. Saying it did break above the previous high. It's going to do it with lighter volume. What we want to see is where this thing closes. If it closes below $43.13 on the semis, I think you've got a good signal out here that we are in a bigger trading range. And we've added several positions in the newsletter today. We'll see how those start panning off. But actually buying some puts, I think this is a good opportunity where the risk-reward does not get any better. Maybe it's 50-50. Maybe it's 50% higher, we go higher, 50% we go lower. My guess, though, is that we're going to go 10 points or 15 points higher on the S&Ps and possibly 100 points lower. I've got to be betting on the lower side if I believe that, and we'll do that. Anyway, we hear Andy's music coming, Jaws. They're circling the ocean, looking for opportunities. And as I remind you, sow when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.